Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into something that affects us all, food safety.
Yeah, definitely an important one.
It's a recent E. coli outbreak, and this one's linked to McDonald's Quarter Pounders.
Oh.
Yeah, so 49 people across 10 states got sick, and tragically, one person in Colorado actually died.
It's really sad to see that happen, and it's really a harsh reminder
It is.
that foodborne illnesses are a very real threat to public health.
Yeah, and it just makes you think twice about
Absolutely.
what you're eating.
Yeah, and what's kind of striking about this particular outbreak is that the investigators, they haven't actually been able to pinpoint the exact source of the E. coli.
Oh, wow.
They're looking at the onions and the beef patties as potential culprits. But when you think about it, all the ingredients and the amount of handling that goes into making even a single burger, it really highlights the complexity of the food supply chain and how difficult it can be to trace back to the origin of contamination.
That's mind-boggling when you think about it, all the different hands and ingredients.
Absolutely.
Places.
It's a massive system.
It is, and this isn't even, an isolated incident.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've seen similar outbreaks before. Like, remember the one at Chipotle back in 2015?
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Multiple states were affected. It had a massive impact on their reputation. And just the whole industry kind of had to take a step back and reevaluate things.
Absolutely. And these outbreaks, while they're thankfully rare, they can have such far-reaching consequences, not only for public health, but also for the companies involved and their image and consumer trust.
Absolutely. And we're even seeing that now with this recent McDonald's situation.
Right.
Other chains like KFC and Burger King, they've actually pulled onion products.
Wow.
As a precaution.
Yeah, that's a big step.
It is. And it shows just how interconnected the fast food industry is.
Yeah.
And how one event can trigger
a ripple effect.
Yeah, widespread concern.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, what can we learn from all of this?
Yeah. I think...
Should we even be eating at fast food restaurants?
I don't think it's about, swearing off fast food altogether.
Okay.
Millions of people eat it every day without any issues. But this recent outbreak, I think it emphasizes the crucial need for strong safety measures throughout the entire food supply chain.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're talking about things like stricter regulations, more thorough inspections, and even potentially using technology like blockchain for better traceability.
Blockchain?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a really interesting concept.
How would that help?
So imagine a digital record that tracks every single ingredient's journey.
Okay.
From the farm where it's grown all the way to your plate.
Wow.
That's what blockchain offers, and this level of transparency would allow us to very quickly identify the source of contamination in the event of an outbreak.
Wow.
Leading to faster recalls and potentially preventing more people from getting sick.
So it's kind of like having a digital detective.
Exactly.
For our food.
Yeah, it could revolutionize the way we track and manage food safety.
That's fascinating. So it sounds like this incident with McDonald's, it's really pushing the industry to re-examine its practices.
Absolutely.
But what about us, the consumers?
Yeah.
I mean, do we have a role to play in all of this?
Absolutely. Consumers have a lot of power.
Okay.
We can demand transparency from companies.
Right.
We can support those businesses that are prioritizing safety.
Yeah.
And we can stay informed about these issues.
Yeah.
By being proactive, we can all contribute to a safer food system.
So it's really a shared responsibility that we can't just expect the industry to take care of everything.
Exactly. We all have a stake in this.
We do. This whole situation, it's just got me thinking about all the other high-profile food safety scandals that we've seen over the years.
Yeah.
And it feels like they keep happening despite all the safety measures that are supposedly in place.
It's true. These incidents, they serve as important reminders about the complexities and the vulnerabilities that exist within our food system. And it makes you think about how much do we really know about where our food is coming from and
what more can we be doing to ensure its safety?
That's a great point, and I think it's a conversation that we definitely need to continue having.
Absolutely.
So let's take a quick break here to absorb all of this, and when we come back, we'll delve deeper into the underlying factors that contribute to these food safety challenges and explore some potential solutions.
Sounds good.
So stay with us. We've been talking about this E. coli outbreak, and it's just really unsettling to think that something as simple as a burger could have such serious consequences.
It really is a stark reminder of, just how complex our food supply chain is these days.
Right.
And how challenging it is to ensure safety at every single step of the process.
You mentioned earlier that investigators are having a tough time tracing the source of this contamination.
Yeah, it's been really tricky.
Why is that?
Well, you got to think about it. Imagine the journey that a single ingredient takes.
Okay.
From the farm where it's grown.
Okay.
To the processing plant where it's handled and packaged.
And then to the distribution center, and finally to the restaurant where it's prepared and served.
Yeah. That's a lot of steps.
It really is. And at any one of those points along the way, contamination can happen.
So you're saying there's so many potential points of failure.
Exactly. And that makes tracing the source a real challenge.
It sounds overwhelming.
It can be. And it's made even more complicated by the fact that with globalization, ingredients often travel vast distances before they reach our plates.
Right. So it's not just local anymore.
Not at all. It's a global network.
So what are some of the key factors then that make our food system so vulnerable to these kinds of outbreaks?
Well, one major factor is simply the sheer volume of food that we produce and distribute these days.
Yeah.
We're talking about mass production on an enormous scale.
Right.
And with that scale, any contamination can spread incredibly fast.
Like a domino effect almost.
Exactly. One weak link in the chain can have repercussions throughout the entire system.
And we're seeing that now with the onions, affecting all these different restaurants.
It is. And another big factor is the pressure to keep costs low.
Right. Because everybody wants affordable food.
Of course. But sometimes that pressure can lead to compromises on safety measures.
In what ways?
Well, it could be anything from cutting corners on hygiene practices to using lower quality ingredients that might be more susceptible to contamination.
So it's a real balancing act.
It is. Finding that balance between affordability and safety is a constant challenge.
Right. And it's not just about the food itself either. Right?
No, you're absolutely right.
There's the human element too.
Exactly. We can't forget about that.
Because people make mistakes.
All the time. And human error can occur at any stage of the process.
Right.
From improper handling to inadequate training. Even the most well-designed systems can be compromised by human mistakes.
So are there any technological advancements out there?
Oh, yeah.
That could help improve food safety?
Absolutely. There are some really promising developments in the works.
Like what?
Well, we talked earlier about blockchain and how that could revolutionize traceability.
Right.
But another really exciting area is rapid testing methods.
Okay.
These are becoming faster and more accurate all the time at detecting pathogens.
Wow.
Imagine being able to test for harmful bacteria in real time.
Oh, wow.
Preventing contaminated food from ever reaching consumers.
That would be incredible.
It would be a game changer, for sure.
Are there any other solutions on the horizon that you're excited about?
Definitely, artificial intelligence is being used more and more to analyze data from the supply chain.
Okay.
And identify potential risks before they even become problems.
So it's like predicting where outbreaks might happen.
Exactly. It's about being proactive rather than reactive.
I like that.
And then there's also really interesting research happening in the area of food packaging.
Packaging. Interesting.
Yeah, they're developing these innovative new materials that can extend shelf life and prevent contamination.
Wow. So it sounds like there are a lot of different approaches being explored.
Absolutely. It's a multifaceted problem, and it requires a multi-pronged approach.
So technology is important, but it's not a magic bullet.
Exactly.
Right.
We also need strong regulations, rigorous inspections, and a culture of food safety at every level of the industry.
Speaking of regulations, what role do government agencies play in all of this?
Well, they play a crucial role.
Okay.
Government agencies are responsible for setting and enforcing food safety standards.
Okay.
They conduct inspections, issue recalls, and investigate outbreaks.
Right.
Their oversight is absolutely crucial for holding companies accountable and ultimately protecting consumer health.
So there's a whole system in place to keep our food safe.
There is. But it's a system that's constantly evolving.
Right.
As our food system becomes more complex, regulators have to adapt and find new ways to ensure safety.
So it's like a constant race to stay ahead of the curve.
You could say that, and that's why it's so crucial for consumers to stay informed and engaged in this conversation about food safety.
Right. We can't just assume that someone else is taking care of it.
Exactly. We all have a role to play.
Absolutely. We need to be proactive about demanding transparency from companies and supporting businesses that are truly prioritizing safety.
I couldn't agree more. It's about recognizing that safe food is a fundamental right.
Right.
Not a privilege.
Well said. This conversation has been a real eye-opener.
Good.
It's clear that food safety is an ongoing concern.
It is.
And it requires vigilance and collaboration from all of us.
Absolutely. Working together is key.
It is. And while these outbreaks are definitely concerning,
yeah,
they also present an opportunity
they do.
To learn and adapt and create a more resilient and safe food system.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, this has definitely given me a lot to think about. Let's take another pause here to digest all of this. And when we come back, we'll shift gears a bit and explore the impact of these food scares and what the future holds for food safety. So don't go anywhere. We've been talking a lot about this recent E. coli outbreak linked to McDonald's, and it's got me thinking about all the other food scares we've seen over the years. You know, these incidents, while thankfully they are rare, they really do stick with you.
Yeah, they certainly do. And they often lead to some pretty significant changes in consumer behavior and in the food industry as a whole. You know, this whole situation with McDonald's and other chains pulling onions as a precaution.
Right.
That's a perfect example of how one event can really send ripples throughout the entire system.
It's like everyone suddenly becomes hyper-aware of the potential risks.
Exactly. And it really underscores the critical role of public perception in all of this.
Yeah.
Even isolated incidents, you know, they can severely damage a company's reputation.
Right.
Chipotle's E. coli outbreak back in 2015, that's a prime example. It took them years to fully recover from that.
It shows that food safety isn't just about regulations and science.
Right.
It's also about trust.
Absolutely. Food companies, they really need to build and maintain trust with their customers.
Yeah.
And that means transparency, clear communication, and a demonstrated commitment to safety.
Those are key. So looking back at all these past scandals, is there a common thread that runs through them all? A pattern we can learn from?
Well, one recurring theme is the complexity of the food supply chain.
Right.
As we talked about earlier, with so many steps and so many different players involved.
Yeah.
Trying to trace the source of contamination in an outbreak.
Right.
It can be like searching for a needle in a haystack.
And that complexity just makes it so much harder to prevent those outbreaks from happening in the first place.
Exactly. It highlights the need for really robust traceability systems. You know, imagine if we could track every single ingredient from its origin all the way to the final product.
That would be amazing.
It would make identifying and containing these outbreaks so much more efficient.
It would revolutionize the way we approach food safety.
Exactly. It wouldn't just be about reacting to outbreaks after they happen.
Right.
It would be about proactively preventing them.
That's a much better approach.
It is, and that's where technology comes in.
Right.
Stricter regulations, rigorous inspections, and a real culture of food safety at every level of the industry. All of these things have to work together.
It's multifaceted.
It is.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here?
Yeah.
What does the future hold for food safety? Well, I believe the future lies in a combination of technological advancements, stronger regulations, and increased consumer awareness. We're already seeing some very exciting developments in areas like blockchain technology, rapid testing methods, and data analytics.
Those are all really promising.
They are. These innovations have the potential to completely transform how we manage food safety.
It's encouraging to hear that there are so many bright minds working on this.
It is, but it's important to remember that technology alone, it's not enough.
Right.
We also need stronger regulations that hold companies accountable and ensure consistent safety standards across the entire industry.
And what about us, the consumers? What can we do to shape the future of food safety?
Consumers have a really crucial role to play here. By staying informed, asking questions, and demanding transparency from food companies, we can really drive positive change.
Yeah.
We can also support those businesses that are prioritizing safety and sustainability with our purchasing power.
So it's about making conscious choices and using our voices to advocate for a safer food system.
Exactly. Ultimately, we all share the same goal, right?
Yeah.
Safe, nutritious, and enjoyable food.
Of course.
By working together, we can create a food system that meets those needs while minimizing risks and safeguarding public health.
This deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening and empowering. We've explored the complexities of our food system, the challenges we face, and some of the potential solutions that are within our grasp. As we wrap up today, I want to leave you with this thought. Food is fundamental to life. We all deserve to have confidence in its safety.
I agree.
By staying informed, advocating for transparency, and making conscious choices, we can all contribute to a safer and healthier food system for everyone. So until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and bon appetit.